The Maldives regularly tops people's lists of dream holiday destinations, and you only need to look at pictures of the idyllic islands with their stunning tropical beaches to understand why. There's no denying the nation's beauty, but if you plan on visiting this place of paradise located in the Indian Ocean, there are some lesser known facts that you might want to take on board. Uninhabited islands. The Maldives is made up of 26 atolls and a whopping 1,192 islands in total. Of these, only 187 islands are currently inhabited, which is equal to just over 15%. 110 islands are used purely for tourism and luxury resorts, so if you like to mix with the locals and experience their way of life, you might want to check what's going on there with your travel agent first. Between 1984 and 2009, there was actually a ban on tourists visiting the inhabited islands, but thankfully, you can now find plenty of guest houses, restaurants and entertainment dotted around. As of 2023, the population of the Maldives stands at around 565,000 according to Worldometer, and although that doesn't seem like much, it's enough to place the Maldives 7th on a list of the world's most densely populated countries, because their islands are relatively small. Lowest and flattest nation. Sticking with geography, the Maldives has the distinction of being both the lowest and flattest country on Earth, and by some margin too. Its islands have an average altitude of just 1.8 metres above sea level, whereas second place Qatar averages an elevation of 28 metres. Incredibly, the highest point in the Maldives is only 2.3 metres above sea level. It's a point in Vilingili Island if you fancy conquering it. However, the low altitude of the Maldives makes it vulnerable to climate change, and there is currently widespread concern because the country appears to be sinking. Previously, natural coral reefs have acted as a barrier to protect the islands during monsoon season, but some scientists believe the entire country could go under by 2030. Various laws and plans to reclaim land from the ocean are being introduced to prevent this. Incredible beaches. While you still can, make sure you head to the Maldives to enjoy some of the rarest, most beautiful beaches in the world. Famously white and pure, Maldivian beaches are one of the main draws for tourists and make for those all-important picture-perfect Instagram posts. Besides looking amazing, another reason the beaches are so special is because they're made from coral. Coralline beaches, made from dried and sun-bleached algae, account for roughly 5% of all beaches on the planet. The majority of others are made from quartz. A word of warning if you plan to go sunbathing in the Maldives though, don't forget your Factor 50 sunscreen, because being so close to the equator, beaches here receive sunlight at an almost 90-degree angle. The flag. Here's one for all of you vexillologists out there, that's people who study flags for the rest of us. The Maldivian flag tells a lot about the country through its design. First adopted in its current state in 1965, it consists of a red border surrounding a green rectangle with a crescent moon in the middle. The colour red represents the blood of the nation's heroes and their willingness to sacrifice their every drop of blood in defence of the country. The green rectangle symbolises peace and prosperity, while the white crescent moon symbolises the Islamic faith of the state. An Indian connection. Interestingly, while the Maldives is now a Muslim country, having adopted Islam in 1153 AD, the first king of the islands was a former Indian prince who was exiled from the kingdom of Kalinga around 270 BC. Apparently, the former prince was given the job of ruling over the Maldives as a form of punishment. What is now the capital city of Malé was traditionally called the King's Island, as the central location is where the ancient royal dynasties ruled from. Nowadays, the constitution of the Maldives is so strict that only Muslims are allowed to obtain citizenship. Any person who practices another faith cannot be called a citizen. As you might expect, the country's laws also pertain to Islam, which means alcohol is restricted to tourist resorts and clubs. Underwater cabinet meeting. The Maldivian government certainly knows how to make a statement. In 2009, President Mohamed Nasheed held the world's first underwater cabinet meeting in order to raise awareness of rising sea levels and the dangers caused by climate change. The meeting took place at the bottom of the sea, which, remember, isn't too deep surrounding the Maldives, and 11 ministers signed a document calling for global cuts to carbon emissions. The signed wetsuits of those in attendance were later auctioned off to raise money for coral reef protection. Whale sharks and turtles. While they were down there, Nasheed & Co might have got a glimpse of the incredibly diverse marine life that the Maldives is blessed with. It's one of the few places on Earth where you can see a whale shark all year round. The 20-foot long beasts are the largest fish known to man, but don't worry, they take after the whale part of their name and live on a diet of plankton rather than humans. If you prefer to swim among turtles, then you're in luck here too, as the Maldives is home to 5 of the 7 species of marine turtle that still exist. Maldivian currency. Had it still been the 1800s, the Maldivian president could have scooped up some cash while he was on the ocean floor too. That's because cowrie shells were used as international trade currency back in the 19th century, and the shells can still be found lying around on beaches today. You'll also find cowrie shells printed on modern coins and paper money as a callback to that earlier period, although the shells themselves are now largely worthless. Different weekends. And finally, if you happen to be watching this video on a Sunday during your day off, spare a thought for the employees of the Maldives who will almost certainly be at work today. Why? Because weekends are different in the Maldives. Instead of having Saturday and Sunday as the weekend, Maldivians observe Friday and Saturday as their weekend, so don't be surprised if certain services are reduced on those days. To be fair, the Maldives isn't the only country to do this, as you'll know if you visited other Islamic countries like Egypt or Jordan. However, it's definitely something to be aware of. The Maldives is a beautiful place with gorgeous natural landscapes, a rich cultural heritage, and amazing friendly people. But don't just take our word for it, let us know in the comments if you have any first-hand experience of the country. Whether you're a fan of the Maldives or learn something new, you can always show your support by leaving a like and sharing this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as we plan to produce many more informational videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and if you're flying off to the Maldives anytime soon, we hope you have an amazing experience.